What's up everyone, Guffix here. Welcome to my guide. This is going to be a guide about OWC and just some pointers, mainly for new people or people that haven't played OWC, and some tips along the way. Starting off very quickly, the only two styles you should be using for a fighter on OWC is either Inside Fighter or Brawler. The reason why you only use these styles is because they are the most durable and the strongest, and you need that in OWC because OWC is a spam fest and you need to be able to have a strong build in order to stand with these spammers, because if you don't, you will just get knocked out cold a lot more frequently, you will lose fights a lot more frequently. The difference between the two builds is Inside Fighter is a bit stronger, whereas Brawler reduces the power a little bit by picking Brawler, but you have a little bit of a speed advantage. In my opinion, I don't think it's worth the trade-off. Most people that play OWC use Inside Fighter, and there'll probably be people sitting there thinking, but I don't want to fight inside. You know, I'm an outside fighter, I'm a boxer puncher, that's fine. You can fight the exact same way, but you have to pick Inside Fighter. You will know the difference straight away. You will get steamrolled by other players if you don't choose Inside or Brawler. It's just facts in OWC, and unfortunately it's the way the game is, and it's one of the flaws in the game. So first off, I'll talk about the build. So build, you've got body types. These actually matter in game. I didn't believe they did until a long time ago when I realised they do actually matter. I'd say the bigger you are, so for example, big bone, big man, they gas out a lot quicker in fights, but they also pack a little bit more power. I normally like to stay in the middle, sort of muscular, thick, and big man sort of build. Also, I'd advise making your boxer close to max height and max reach. Doesn't necessarily have to be 6'2", 8'2", but I'd sort of rock a 6'1", 8 sort of build, you know, in height and reach. You don't want to be going too low, because if you fight as an absolute midget, you are not going to have success against people on OWC, because there's a lot of OWC players that are complete spammers, and you will struggle against them sort of guys. Another thing to point out, which I nearly forgot, you should be max weight as well. You don't want to be rocking 147 pounds at the middleweight. Your punch resistance will be a lot lower. Everyone chooses 160, it's the best to be at middleweight. Moving on to style now. My personal favourites, if you were to ask me, Sniper, Easy and Smooth. I don't normally mix it up any more than that, to be honest. I mean, other people probably have their opinions, they'll have their builds. I know Steady is one that's used as well, because Steady is actually the hardest hitting build that you can have on the game, but I don't use Steady because I think it's too much of a plodded style personally. When it comes to blocking types, we've got Textbook, Philly Shell and Cross. I'd say the only ones you should really be using is Cross and Philly Shell. Textbook, I wouldn't say it's as good defensively. Philly Shell is probably the best on the game in terms of defense and blocking the most punches, but cross block, I'd say blocking headshots alone, it's probably slightly better than Philly Shell. Philly Shell's probably better overall at blocking both head and body. Most of the spammers that play this game, I know I'm talking about spammers a lot here, but a lot of spammers that play use the cross block. That's because they can defend the head better than they can defend the body. This is why when people use cross block, specifically spammers, they're very subject to the jab, to the body and straight to the head spam, because with the cross block, when you jab them to the body, their guard lowers, and as soon as their guard lowers, it gives that split second sometimes to throw in a straight over the top. When it comes to punch style, if you were to ask me personally, yet again, power is the only one I go for. Another style that I would probably go for is Fraser, because I've used Fraser. Foreman is one that spammers use. The downside to using Foreman is the straight punch is very powerful, but the uppercuts are so slow you'll never be able to get them off, and it's a pretty plodded style in my opinion, and it's very one-dimensional. Chavez is another one that people use. The hooks on Chavez is pretty good. If I was to say the top styles, I'd probably say Chavez, Fraser, Power, Foreman. Speed gets used occasionally, but I wouldn't recommend going for speed over power on OWC. because OWC it's full of spammers, and if you want any chance on the elite level against these spammers, you have to prioritize power over speed, in my personal opinion, because if you don't, you're gonna get absolutely battered online, because you're not even trying to box with them at stages, you are trying to outspam them. That's the only way to beat an elite level spammer. You have to spam them back, and you're not going to be able to do that if you've just got speed. Here is my punch stats and what I tend to favour. I like to, I mean, you can go 20 if you want the flush knockouts, but I find that it's a bit of a it's not a real win, really, is it? I mean, you might celebrate getting one, but if you're down in a fight and you get a flush knockout, it doesn't take skill, it's just a feature in the game, isn't it? I'd rather just have legitimate wins all the times. I've put my straight close to max, but I haven't completely maxed it, so I don't get flash KOs. Right uppercut the same. There's some points missing on here because this is a new build that I've made, but usually I'd have my left hook a bit more onto the next stun level. I would have my straight and my jab body somewhere in the middle as well as jab head. I'd probably have my right uppercut close to maxed as well. As far as combinations go, I just like to have them maxed because I don't know how it actually affects the output of your punches in terms of like how quick you can get them out, and I think that's important in a fight to be able to get your punches out as quick as possible, because if you're throwing them and you're not getting them out quick enough, you're going to be left open to be countered. As far as blocking goes, I think it's just, I don't know, speculation that I have it maxed, because I wouldn't want to have it not maxed and then get hit a lot more. You want to avoid your opponent being able to score any points whatsoever. Head movement max just for defense, elusiveness. You have to have your chin maxed. If you don't, you will be the victim of a lot of flash KOs and a lot of knockdowns. Heart, you can finesse that a little bit. You can sort of put it in the middle if you want, but I'd rather just have more durability all round. As far as boosts, you're very unfortunate if you didn't download them or pay for them or whatever, however you get them. I know you get them through like legacy mode achievements and stuff like that, and fight now mode achievements. I know there's one I think it's the speed one where you have to get like 45 OWC level. That would probably be a tough one to get unless you've been playing for a long time. But I have all gold boosts on. I wouldn't recommend anything else. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There's not any secret sauce builds here, I think a lot of people blame their gameplay on their builds, and to a degree that is true. I think you do have to have a certain build to be able to have any success in OWC, but I think people switch it up too often. I'm someone that keeps it simple. I normally go for the same build every single time. It's either easy, sniper, smooth. When I say same build, and then I mention them three, but out of the three I'd probably use at the minute I'm liking sniper, and the reason I'm liking sniper is because I find with easy, although you can move around and it feels fluid and you feel very defensive, I think it lacks the pop in the punches, and because it lacks the pop in the punches, you can't get them knockdowns that you need, and it can be the difference in some hard fights. When it comes to smooth, I just don't like the foot movement. I know it's meant to be the fastest moving, and it's also got probably the best power between the three, but it's a bit janky. But I still use it because I do actually like the power it gives you. I do feel that power when I'm in the game, and it has been the difference, and I have been able to get quite a few knockdowns with smooth. I've been able to finish people with smooth, whereas I wouldn't have been able to finish them on easy, when using the easy style rather. As far as sniper goes, I think that's a mix between the two, but with sniper I find it's a very good style for getting your jab off, and because I am someone that uses the jab a lot on fight night, I feel like it's one of the best builds to use to get your jab off, and I think it has a bit more power than easy does. Easy just doesn't have the pop in the punches that you need to be able to knock someone down, in my opinion. Paulie Malignaggi, you've got no pop in your punches whatsoever. Sniper, you can actually get knockdowns. As far as OWC goes, I think we've talked about everything, talked about the main points of OWC. I think a lot of people dwell too much on their builds when they're building fighters, and it shouldn't really be that way. I mean, you should stick to a build that you're comfortable with. Once you've made that build, just stick with it. Because if you don't stick with it, you're just changing stuff up and things are going to feel awkward, and you've got to get used to the build that you've got. I'm not saying pick a rubbish build and then, you know, go with that, but choose a build that you know is good, maybe a common build that people use, like, I don't know, Smooth, Chavez, Frazier, something like that, and just stick with it and see how it goes for you, and then change it accordingly. Like, if you feel like your punches are not quite right after a long time of playing it and you think it's lacking a bit of power, this style, change it up. But that's all I've got for you really for today, and I'll probably get some gameplay out, some OWC gameplay, but specifically maybe spammers, and just show you how I deal with them. I'm not claiming to be the best player in the world. I don't beat every single elite level spammer, because they are very tough fights for the most part. They know how to spam, they know how to exploit, but I do get a lot of wins against them as well, so it's all about patience. I feel it's all about patience with spammers. You've got to try to frustrate them. I mean, this information is going to be for another video. I'm not going to talk about spammers in this video, so I hope this video was informative, and hopefully you've learned something, maybe something you didn't know, or even if it's just helped you, that's what the video's here for. Until next time, see you later.